Welcome to the Vet Practice Playbook, brought to you by VetPractice Pro, where we talk all things veterinary leadership, management, clinic ownership, and more. I'm Dr. Emily King, joined by Kayla Biddles and Richie King. Okay, I have another icebreaker for you guys.
Okay, good. I was going to ask you that.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to take your phone.
Oh boy.
And I want you to go to your emojis.
Okay, good.
And text, or Kayla, you're better at this than me. Is it possible? So what I want you to do is pick the emoji that most looks like what you feel like right now. And then show it. Let's see what we've got.
That's a really I know how to make it like, I would say the little guy with the stars. Because we're excited to be here on the podcast.
That was really good. The stars. Richard?
Hold on.
Oh, you're still looking. Okay.
Do we be legit or funny?
No, you could, whatever is most, whatever describes you right now.
Picked one with a story, but I don't know if it's appropriate for the podcast.
How do you do it? How are we going to do it?
I just described it.
She just described it. You can send it to me if you want.
What's yours while he's looking?
I'm looking right now. I'm doing mine.
You could also say, "What's your number one?" You know how you look at.
I gotta pull Richie's up. What? You guys see that?
It just made me laugh.
Groucho Marx.
Okay.
Okay, Groucho Marx. He's trying to be funny. Okay, let me see.
Anybody at the age of like 60 has no idea who Groucho Marx is.
This is me. I'm gonna send this back to you, and you can show everybody.
What?
What is it?
I don't know.
Oh, I almost chose that one, actually.
You did?
Because I use it a lot.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know. All right. Okay, well, listen. Today, we are talking about why feedback sucks so much. Why is it so uncomfortable?
Why can't it?
Yes, it doesn't. Feedback is good.
No, it is. But most people would say, if you said, yeah, feedback sucks. So why does it feel like that in our industry? I would say across the board, but in our industry as well. Why do you guys think?
Let me back up. This story just popped into my head. I used to have a
Why
friend.
is it so uncomfortable?
Okay, there was the friend that I used to have, I guess. Used
at
to work
Sam's Club?
No, not at Sam's Club. He was a roommate.
Where are all your Sam's Club stories?
Mr. Gaddy's?
No. But he worked at a restaurant. It was Grady's, actually, in Knoxville.
Grady's. Okay.
And they were known for some of their cutting edge, at least for the time, training programs. And everybody was trained, but they didn't call it training. They called it developing. And what they would say is, you train a dog, you develop a person. So
good.
they would, it's a play on words. I get it. It means the same thing, but that goes into the notion of feedback and how that can further develop. If you look at it, a lot of that just has to do with how your paradigm and how you look at things, the frame with which you're looking at an event or a result or whatever. So I think that's really important. If you look at it less on a negative and more as a positive, these people are trying to make you the best that you can possibly be. I think it reframes the event and the circumstance and into a much more positive light.
Yeah. And I think it really depends on how the person is giving you feedback. I think a lot of times people don't know how to give good feedback. And so it feels, as the recipient, like you're being belittled or essentially like you suck,
attacked.
You don't know what you're doing. And that's not positive feedback.
I think the biggest mistake everyone makes is that they don't tell people that they're going to get feedback. And so then therefore people are surprised, shocker, that they're actually getting feedback. So like, I think you can help yourself tremendously at the hiring meeting.
Yeah.
You say, in our interview series, we run through these certain things, these steps when we hire somebody. And during that process, you need to say, hey, listen, how do you handle feedback? Because you're going to get it here. And because we think, feedback is kindness, like showing love. Right. What?
Do you say it like that?
Yeah.
You're going to get it.
You're going to get it here because it's a way of loving you. If we don't, like you should be, when I was play basketball, my coach always said, listen, the only time you need to be concerned is when I'm not talking to you. Because that means I'm done. Peace out. you're worthless. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
You're not worth helping anymore. And it's like, oh, yeah, you're exactly right. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear what you have to say all the time. And as soon as you stop talking to me, that's when I'm going to be worried. And I think if people had that approach instead of being like, oh my God, they're going to talk to me.
Yeah.
How many times did you have in the clinic when someone would be like, oh crap, what did I do wrong? And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just talking.
I mean,
a lot every time.
really not at the clinic, but yeah. I mean, like I'm packing my box right now.
Part of that
I
goes.
need to bring my box.
So bring your box, baby.
Part of that goes to the type of person that's been hired and the type of employee it is. If you have somebody that's terribly insecure that can't take any kind of feedback at all, that's a problem.
But I think if you forewarn them, it sets up the next conversation so easily. Like, so when someone's just like upset that you gave feedback, then, and you're likely, if you're forewarning people they're going to get feedback, you probably are taking the time to be good at giving feedback and give it in the right way. So let's assume that that's happening. But then say the person doesn't receive feedback. Well, you can be like, hey, listen, we talked about this. This is something that's going to happen on a regular basis. And I need you to shift how you're thinking about feedback.
Yeah. It's not bad. We're not giving you feedback to yell at you or scream at you. Or growing and developing you to make you the best employee. And I also think, too, knowing your employees well, what their personalities, taking personality tests and all of that, you're going to know, okay, I can be direct with this person and they're going to love it. And I have to sugarcoat this person a little bit more. And so I think knowing your employees and knowing how they can receive feedback and being a good leader to recognize that and change how you talk to them.
And I think it's really important to address the professional, not the personal. It's more behavioral.
Yes.
And less like, I think if people perceive it as a personal attack, they're not listening to feedback because then, I mean, I know personally,
it's not about your identity. It's about a behavior.
Immediately the walls go up and you're like, I don't care what you say going forward. I'm not listening to it because you led with a personal attack.
Yeah.
So, and it diminishes the credibility of the person giving feedback too, because you're like, you're not my dad. I get it. But you know, I kind of work here. I don't have to work here.
Yeah.
So that really, you have to be careful in that regard that you don't. Now, there are certain situations that are personal issues you do have to address, but it's rare. I mean, generally speaking, it's performance based, and you kind of have to follow that tack.
And I think making sure you're giving, if two employees are doing the same thing, you have to give feedback to both.
Right.
Make sure you're not just giving one, because then that one person is going to be like, okay, well, why aren't you talking to Sally over here? So yeah, make sure.
Yes, you bring up a great point. And I think that's why it's received so poorly a lot of the times, is that people aren't good at giving feedback. So when you aren't good at giving feedback, then you're likely to mess up psychological safety. And when you mess up psychological safety, that's when people are like, you know, like it's that whole thing, like I can hear feedback from this person and it doesn't ruffle my feathers. But then this person, if they were to say the same thing to me, I'm like, we're ready to fight. Let's go. Like, right. Like that's because there's no psychological safety. And so understanding that and learning how to keep people in dialogue, which is a whole crucial conversations thing, which, okay, here's my shameless plug. We're going to be doing a workshop, and we did the workshop. We're going to be doing a mastermind on crucial conversations. So check it out because it'll make your life so much better. Okay. Anyway, so that's a whole thing, like being good at feedback, you know, giving it. So what are some things that...
Hold on, can I say something right before I answer your question?
Yeah, I want to say something.
So you also can't just only talk to them when you're giving them feedback. Because then they're going to be like, anytime Kayla comes out of her office, we're getting in trouble.
Yep.
Like you have to have a relationship outside of giving feedback.
And there's some ratio. I forget what it is. It was like 10 to 1.
10 to 1. Your
interactions, you need 10 positive interactions. And then, because then to your point, if you have that one, their initial reaction is, they're here to... you know, give me say something negative if you've led with the other 10.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the bank account. You can't just pull from an empty bank. You have to add positive money into the bank account before you can pull a negative out.
So things that make feedback uncomfortable: when it's vague, when it's emotional
or personal.
And I was laughing at this list because I've experienced all of these things. When it's vague, it's emotional. When it's inconsistent, to your point of you're telling Sally but not Amy, right? When it's delayed, so now 3 weeks later you're coming back around and
Oh my gosh.
You know what you did 3 weeks ago back there when you checked that client?
Do not remember that.
Okay, delayed when it's public.
Yes.
Yeah, don't do that.
Do not do that. Like when you are in treatment and I don't know, you guys have a policy of not grabbing syringes with your whatever it is, and you call somebody out and that do not do that. That will not be seen as supportive and good feedback. Passive aggressive.
And leadership, though, that comes to leadership, though. I think it's really important for as a leader to understand and appreciate what you really want the end goal to be. I mean, do you want them to be better, or are you having a bad day and you're yelling at people? Yeah. That's the problem. Is that, and we've all had that. We've all had bosses snap at us and stuff like that. But in retrospect, I think back and I think they were just having a bad day. It doesn't excuse what they did, but as a leader, you've got to be cognizant of that and not do that because that'll kill credibility like that.
Yeah.
So you have to be really careful that you take a moment yourself as a leader and pull back, because especially in a public context, everybody's watching and they're going to see it and they're going to remember it. And they're going to remember when so-and-so yelled at so-and-so, So
also, as the superior, as the leader, how you receive feedback is extremely important because you need to model that behavior, so that your employees see you receiving feedback in a good light, in a positive light. And asking, like, tell me more. What, what is your body position? So your, your tone look like, and your cues. Are you standing like this? Are you asking for more? Please tell me more. How can I do that differently next time? Like the way you model that for your people, the more likely they are to also perform in that way as well.
Yep.
I would agree.
Okay. What else? Anything else anybody has to add about that? What makes it less uncomfortable? So we talked about the fact that the things that make it uncomfortable, right? All those things, vague, delayed, all those things, passive aggressive, which I feel like we see a lot in veterinary medicine, passive aggressive comments, right? I feel like all the time. Or maybe it's not even a comment, it's a text message in a group text.
Also, don't give feedback via text message.
And don't do that. And
I probably should
do
have
not
to say that, but I feel like I have to say
in the workshop we said, right? Do not send a group text when it's a single person who has the issue,
and you know who you are,
and you and because the one person isn't gonna get it.
No.
So just go have a conversation with the person who needs to hear it.
Yes. Be comfortable having an uncomfortable conversation with the one person and not pull all the staff in.
Yeah.
Okay, so what makes feedback less uncomfortable? It needs to be frequent.
Yep.
We talked about 10 times positive to 1 time negative, right? Or correction, 1 time correction.
Lead with the positive, follow the negative.
Yeah. It's specific. And that's a big thing about feedback. You can't say, you did great today. That's going to fall short.
No.
It needs to be very specific. You had all of your anesthetic sheets filled out by the end of work today, which is so impressive because now tomorrow when you come in, you're not going to have that on your plate. That's very specific, and so being very specific about what the feedback is, I think is really important.
I think too, making sure you're tying it back to core values and mission statement. So you're giving feedback, but ultimately everything should lead back of the bigger picture.
The bigger picture.
And also to that point, I think if someone is terribly ambitious and they want to do this, that's another form of feedback to say, listen, you're positioning yourself for this, whatever this is. So therefore this feedback is valuable in that regard to help position you for that, to reinforce those behaviors that will get you to that next level.
It's delivered calmly.
Yes.
Yep.
Right. And then we said it's consistent across the team.
Yep.
Okay. And then we talked about leaders modeling it, which is really important.
Lead by example, always.
Right. And the last thing I would say is I think most veterinarians are slightly a little bit introverted.
Yeah.
Right. What's the one where you're not extroverted, you're not introverted, you're ambivert? Well, I don't know. It's called something like that where you're in the middle.
I'm not going to go there.
Okay. Listen, no, I'm just saying that you think that you don't you're avoiding.
Yeah.
I don't want to rock the boat kind of scenario, so I'm avoiding. And I think that really creates
they have something. What's the name of
a
that?
lot of issues for people over time. And it's going to build resentment.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you listened to that homily by Father Mike. Did you listen to it?
Which one?
The one I just sent you. Mike Schmidt.
It's in the queue to listen to.
And Hallow. Harrison, did you listen to it yet? He talks about resentment. and the power of resentment. And he explains it so amazingly well that it is the thing that can tear everything down, which makes sense, right? When you sit there and it festers and festers and festers, resentment is the one thing that will wreck everything in your staff. Like if they're resentful. So it'll definitely mess up your culture.
Yes, but I think if you, like we've said before, if you start from the interview and hiring process,
do yourself a lot of favors.
It just makes it so much easier. Because they know, and if they,
And really, what's the hiring process? The hiring process is you're minimizing the chance it's not going to work out. That's what you're doing. You're looking to maximize the productivity and the employment relationship with that individual, as they should with you. So, I mean, I think that's such an important thing. So in today's tight labor market, it's so easy to go, we just needed somebody. If you can fog a mirror, you're hired. And that's, you're asking for trouble.
When they're there for the working interview, try to give them a little feedback and see how
it goes.
And
Absolutely. All right. So in closing, feedback's uncomfortable, but that's because growth is uncomfortable, right? We always say that growth and comfort don't coexist. So you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. But the absence of feedback is far more damaging than the discomfort of it. So if we want stable practices, feedback cannot be rare. It has to be normal.
Yep.
All right. That's a wrap for this week's episode.
Yep.
All right. So I just encourage everyone to check out our website, look at our courses. We got free downloadables. There's a whole bunch of stuff on there to help you and your clinic grow and succeed. And then also don't forget to check out our Circle community. It's a great place to ask questions, vent about your day, post things. So make sure you get on there. We're all on there to answer any questions, anything you guys may have. And then with that, that's it for today's episode of the VetPractice Playbook. We hope you got a few plays to use for yourself or for your clinic. If you enjoyed this conversation, share it with others, leave us a review, and check out vetpracticepro.com for tools and courses that can take your clinic to the next level. See you guys next week.
See ya.